Hello, 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 everybody. With you, Sandra Graves, and welcome to Single Mom That Today. We are all here, and my goal is to help you choose your path. Because a lot of times, because of our circumstances, what we do is choose the circumstances versus the path that we want to take. And you cannot really be successful if you just choose the circumstances because you need to focus on what is it that you want. And after you focus on what is it that you want, no matter what happened, you get because you have a goal in mind and that's how you achieve it. So the goal is for you to always remember, choose your path. That is the goal. And for that reason, we have today a guest and she's going to be talking to us about dating with purpose. And ladies, a lot of you ladies, you just date for dating because you're feeling lonely. You date for dating because you want to fill in the gap of some of your friends have husbands and boyfriends and all that kind of stuff, and you don't. You don't know how they get in them. You don't know what they're doing for it. Okay, so please, first, don't compare yourself to other people. That's the reason why Ayesha, I hope I said it right. Ayesha is going to be sharing with us more information about that. She is a single mom and she's going to talk to us more about it. But you know what? Instead of me just saying more about Ayesha, because I really don't know much about Ayesha, let's Ayesha tell us about who is Ayesha, what is Ayesha all about, and why should we really be listening to Ayesha? Go ahead.
I am so honored. Thank you for having me, Sandra, on your Single Mom Today podcast. So I'm excited to share. My name is Ayesha Goodall. I am a wellness and fitness expert, as well as an author and a speaker. A single mom of three. I have a 19-year-old, I have a 13-year-old, and an 11-year-old, two girls and one boy. So in 2018, I was like, compelled to write a book. I was like, I want to write a book. At first, it was going to be just a general self-help book. And then when I started networking and I got in contact with the publisher, he was like, it's more powerful to tell your own story. So
That's
people
right.
could get to know you first and then do the, other, content. So I was like, okay, that's great. So we thought about the Single Mom Survival Guide. That's the first book. Moving on after divorce. And in 2010, I went through a really dark space in life where I was facing separation. I was pregnant with my third child. And then I buried my dad, all in 2010. And so then, we'll delve into that. But the book that we're going to talk about today is my second book that was launched in 2020, last year, November. And I was also nudged to just, you know what? Dating as a single mom can be overwhelming and challenging. So what does that look like? A lot of moms, single moms especially, we get lost in the sauce. We, use our kids as an excuse to not live, and
Mm-hmm.
we are enough and we are capable to love ourselves first and to love again. So I actually wrote the book, Dating a Single Mom, What Men Need to Know and What Women Need to Do.
Okay, yes. Well, that sounds like a hot topic to me because dating can be very, very confusing for single moms. So, where do we begin?
Well, first off, what I find is being married is having a partnership, right? And then if you're married for a certain amount of time, any amount of time, and you develop this bond with your partner, and then you have children, to actually go through a divorce separation, and the children are involved, it's like heart wrenching, because one, you're going through all of your emotions. You're, questioning whether or not you're enough. You're questioning if you're a good mom,
Mhm.
so I felt like building a community for single moms going through whatever, because no matter where you are in life, if you like are a six-figure earner or just a regular stay-at-home mom, we all have human feelings. And
Mhm.
so in those moments, sometimes we forget how to pour into ourselves and fill in our own cup. So the first step is, after the divorce, it's about really going within and learning yourself, loving yourself, knowing that we as adults also still have that inner child, because something in that divorce has you in it. So what I do is I look in the mirror as to where do I need to do the work instead of pointing the blame, because that person has to deal with that person. I
That's
have to
right.
deal with myself, and then I have
Hmm.
to deal with these kids, because we're usually left with raising the kids for the
Yes.
most part. So self-love, what does that look like? Self-love is not always pretty. It doesn't always feel good. And self-love is, okay, I have an inner child. I have a wounded child. I have past traumas. Part of the past trauma is this divorce. Why am I attracting this? I believe in energetic flow. We attract what we think, what we speak, and how we walk in life. And so I just feel like if you're going through a divorce, if you are divorced or going through or in a separation, it's just time to go and delve within and do your
Yeah, but I cannot deal with it. I can't take this. No, what's wrong with me? No. How do you respond to that one?
Well, that's good. So it's just about one, surrounding yourself by people, or surround yourself with people who are in a higher frequency. And that's what I did. I actually started to search and became a resource to myself because I was determined to get out of the situation. I mean, I can go into the first book. I had lost my kids to the state because of all this emotion that you were expressing. Like, we get so lost in, oh, woe is me, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy. But our words are powerful. And so when we speak that, we attract whatever that is.
Yes,
So
yes.
I was in a downward spiral in 2010, and I was speaking these negative things in my head. So I started to attract, I'm not a bad person, but how did I lose my kids to the state? My words. So surrounding yourself and getting yourself up out of the rut is first. And you have to rely on your higher power, because at first you do feel like you're alone, but you're really not alone. Because if you rely on the divine being, he's powerful than anyone. And then you will be led to the right circle of people, the right energy, pick up a book, turn on the YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Find the resources, because now we're living in a world where it's so many resources to heal. So
Yeah.
you just have to be determined enough to go out and get that.
Yeah, but I am not strong like you. Like you're like a strong woman. I have always been a weak person.
Okay, so that's the self-pity. We don't want to do that. So my thing is, I would offer, if I'm in any of my clients, is I delve into what are the top 3 things that you want? Where do you want to see your life? Because you have children looking at you. And do you want them? All we're doing is building this vicious cycle of generational curses, right? And who gets to change it? I'm the game changer. I decided to be the game changer. My mom passed it on to me. I have 2 young girls, right? So this is what I pour into the women, is that you have lives depending on you at this point. And they think that's all you need to realize, is they know that you're enough to make sure that they're okay. Are you going to let them down? Because it doesn't matter who's out here. It matters what's within these 4 walls. So what's most
That's right.
important to you? So self-love, you know, not just the massages,
Well,
not just the,
I put on makeup. I look good. I go to the gym. I have a great body. Everybody tell me that I'm beautiful.
well, on the inside, when you're by yourself and it's just you, only you get to see you. So you have to like you, even those parts. I learned, you know what I learned? This is what I learned. I did a lot of deep diving, a lot of deep work. I looked for, who can I get to help me? And because I was in that vortex, it landed. I didn't know where it was coming from, but I was looking for it. So what you're looking for will find you, right?
Right?
And so
When the
my
student
thing,
is ready, the teacher
the
appears.
teacher appears. And so when I did, and my life coaches and my mentors and showed up, I was like ready. And I had to feel ugly. I felt ugly about myself on the inside because I was angry.
Yes,
I learned
yes.
that outside of what the world calls angry, we as a culture, because of all the stuff that we go through, we have this angry Black woman syndrome, you know, or stigma, but
Yeah.
technically we control that. And what other people think is none of our business. That's key.
Mm-hmm.
So when I learned to embrace, and you know, when I embraced the fact that I'm okay, that I have emotions of anger,
Mm-hmm.
that was just 2 years ago. And I've been in this work for 11 years. So when I discovered that, I was like, well, why is this anger coming up? Then I had to discover, who am I angry at? So
Mm-hmm.
then when I discovered who I was angry at, I was like, I'm angry at men. Maybe that's why I'm having issues with dating. Well, let me delve
Yes.
deep. Let me delve deeper. Let me go deeper. And most
Yes.
people won't go delve deeper because they're afraid. Remove the
Yes.
fear. Okay.
Yes. Afraid to see
So
themselves.
afraid to see themselves. And so I had to delve deep. I chose to choose. Okay. Choosing happiness and never giving excuses. Right.
Yep.
That's change. So if you choose to change, you'll find the happy.
You
So
got
I
to take
chose,
responsibility
yeah,
because you
absolutely.
can't
So I
change
chose to
if you don't take
change.
responsibility. Just like what you just said, stop blaming the other person. Because I know when I went through the divorce, I can pick two things. I can pick to say, he did this to me, he did this to me, he did this to me.
Mhm.
Or I can say, what did I do and what can I do better?
Right.
Because it's not about going back with the person, it's about analyzing what you did wrong so that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
So when at the beginning, when I was angry, like, I'm gonna kill that man and I'm gonna
Mhm.
do this because he destroyed my life. He didn't destroy my life. It just happened the way it happened, but just to make me stronger. And then when I look at it, I'm like, okay, I screwed up right here. I did this one right here. I did this wrong right here. I could have done
Yes.
this better. And when I analyzed that, I started feeling better about myself because as soon as you acknowledge it, you grow immediately
Well,
just by the acknowledgement.
that
Is
is
that
so
correct?
key. The acknowledgement, right? Accepting, you know, your own flaws, because we're all flawed. You know what I'm saying? And if we don't do the work, we're just going to recycle the same behavior to the next and to the next and to the next. And focusing on us. So focusing on us and delving into self-love, learning the inner child, learning, you know, how we can get better is step one to dating on purpose, right? Step two is tapping into your children and making sure that their emotional and mental health is
Well,
okay.
I'm a perfect mom. Like my children love me. We spend a lot of times together. Like we do everything together. They don't even want to be with the other parent. They want to be with me. So tuning in, I am so tuned into my kids.
Okay, do you know their love language? Uh-huh. So that's what you can spend time with your kids all the time, but guess what we have now? Technology. And when you're in your children's presence, are you always on the phone? My kids checked me. They're like, Mom, like you're on the phone all the time. Cause I mean, I'm in fitness, you know, and I do personal training, life coaching and stuff like that. So a lot of my business is in my phone. But then I had to schedule my time out with my kids.
Yes.
Quality time. But
Yes.
this is where I learned the love languages for children, because it's just not about couples. Learning your children's love language. I have three, and each of them all have different love languages. So I had to tap into what that looks like for them,
Yes.
what validates them, to make sure that they feel like they're enough, that they're worthy. You know, I would sit with them and help them, you know, with affirmations on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And so now, like if I'm off my rocker, they're like, Mom, come on, let's do our affirmations. You know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that you spend the time with them, because they're impacted and they don't communicate like we do. They
Yes.
act out their emotions, you know, in school with grades, socializing with friends, or they will go in a corner and just, make sure that they're all alone. They feel alone. You want to make sure that they're happy.
Yes.
And what I see a lot is women in the dating world as single moms will prioritize the man before they
Yes, yes. Come on, tell me a little bit more about that one because I see it all the time
all the
and they
time.
don't get it. I mean,
Yeah,
and
and
like, first of all, just to tell the story, right now in the news, there is a story about a woman that left her kids at home by themselves. One of them was dead. and she left the kids alone, and she was hanging out with her boyfriend for over 6 months. That is in the news. And let me tell you, ladies, if you continue like that, that can be your story, because you prioritize the man instead of giving value to your kids. So come on, Ayesha, come on, bring it on, come on.
Yeah, so
come on.
I mean, the thing is that the men are going to be there. It's a whole lot of them out here. But what you want to have secure is the safety, the mental health, the emotional health of your children. Because leaving your children at home, again, we go to acting out, right? Acting out. I don't know what the story was, who, how they ended up, one child dead or whatever, or how old they were. But they act out their emotions. And I think about that a lot. You know what I'm saying? I came up as a latchkey kid. And nowadays, these kids are so advanced. They're going on the internet learning how to twerk. They're going on the internet, with this demonistic stuff. You have to tune into your kids, or the internet is. And there's nothing
Yes.
coming positive out of that. TV,
Yes.
music. You know what I'm saying? I teach my kids that your association is just not your friends. It's what you listen to, it's what you read, it's what you feed into your mind. And then being careful about the men. So I lay the foundation straight up. Here's going into the third step of dating with purpose. Collect data. What is collect data? Ask the right questions. Have those tough conversations in the first 90 minutes. Have fun with it,
So what conversation should they be having?
The first conversation is, do you want any more kids? And how do you feel about children? I have school-age children, and how they feel about children will determine if they actually deserve any more of my time.
We don't have to talk about kids. It's not like I'm going to marry you right now.
Then we don't have nothing else to talk about. Because my life is my kids, right? And my kids are 11 and 13. They're school age, and they're at the pivotal stage in their life.
No, but don't take me wrong. That is a conversation for later. Right now, baby, I want to know about you.
So
you are the woman of my dream. I have been looking for you all of my life. Let's talk about the kids later.
What are your intentions?
Well, my intention is to be the best man for you, baby.
What does that look like? What is the picture? Give me a plan of action. We're 47 and 50.
That looked like me taking you to dinner, rubbing your body down.
Oh, okay. Well, guess what? We have no more to talk about. Thank you. I appreciate your time. And I walk off. Okay.
But you know what? You walk off, but a lot of women can't do that. They hear that and they're like,
yeah, because it's a temporary.
And then the guy grabbed their hand and he's like, it's part of the legs like that.
Oh my goodness. Soul ties. Then they create a soul tie, right? They go and get all rubbed down and, feeling good or whatever, not even knowing about this person.
A shower together.
So again, what's most important? My children's health, mental, emotional, psychological, physical is everything. Is everything. I put and understand that I'm going to pour into me so my cup will be full, so I can have enough to pour into my children. And then I have clients, my work.
Yeah, but you don't understand. You really don't understand. I can't really listen to you because I need a man to help me pay my bills, to help me with my kids. I need a man, I cannot afford things. And if I tell them from the beginning like that, then they're not going to stay.
At what cost? Do you think you need, at what cost? At the cost of your children's life?
At the cost of your children's virginity? Because let me tell you, you don't know what man you're bringing into your house.
This is why I say collect data. Those elephant in the room questions, ladies, you need to ask them and stop being afraid if the man is going to receive you or not. Because if he is going to receive you, he is going to be able to match your energy. He is going to be able to withstand those tough elephant in the room questions, right? And if he stutters, and this, I've experienced it. If he stutters one time about a key question regarding how do you feel about children? What's your relationship with your mother? How was your
Mhm.
childhood? Like, did you have fun? Did you experience any abuse or whatever like that? Like, you need to know these things having children up front,
Yeah.
because you have that second, third, fourth date. Now you're starting to invite him in your world, in your space, in your energy.
Do you
And
ladies
so,
heard what she just said? She said second, first, fourth date. She did not say just blabber everything in his face. It have to be like me and her having a conversational thing,
yes,
not a list of items saying, answer this question. Because if
absolutely.
I am a man and you ask me a question like that, I dump you by the second. Okay.
Exactly.
So you need to still show that you are interested in the person, but through the wise conversation that you are having, you're having dinner, you eat
Yes,
something.
yes.
Oh, so what do you think
Have
about
a
kids?
smile, be
You
warm and
know,
fuzzy.
you know,
Yes.
you have nephews, nieces, that kind of conversation. You don't have to
Mhm.
be direct, but the way that he treats his nieces and nephews, it might tell you a little bit about him. And
Absolutely.
then you are having that dessert, right? So ask for dessert, okay? You're having that, you're having that dessert, and you're just like, hmm.
Mm.
What was your favorite dessert when you were young? What did your parents get
Yes.
you? And stuff like that. And now he's forced to talk about his mom and dad, and you will find out who he going to talk about. He's going to say,
Yes.
oh, my dad used to take me to eat ice cream. No, the dad is what he's connected to. My mom used to take me to this. Oh, what was your favorite dessert that your mom used to make for you? My mom didn't make me any desserts.
Hmm.
So you see, it's conversation.
It's
She's not trying to tell
conversation.
you to go like detective and all the kind of stuff. She's trying to
Absolutely.
tell you, have a conversation. And that's where most of you fail,
Yes.
because then you want to blame the coach because the coach told me, no, the coach didn't tell you to be a fool and ask stupid question.
Right.
The coach told you, just like when you're having coaching with someone, you
Yep.
have a conversation, they ask you a question, you respond to that. Ladies, this is how you do it. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm emphasizing that because I hear conversations with people all the time. My coach told me to do this. My coach told me to do that. No, they didn't tell you to do anything.
Mm-mm.
They had a conversation with you that was
Yes.
inviting, and there were recommendations, and then you do with that whatever the heck you want with it.
Absolutely. Intention.
Okay.
Be intentional.
Yes.
Be
So yeah.
intentional with your questions. Have fun. Like, don't be all rigid. Like she said, have fun. I ask questions on what's the best memory you had as a child.
Mhm.
And then guess what that is? That's showing interest in them, and they're going to give you everything practically with that question
Yes.
alone. The best
Yes.
memory as a child. Wow, she's interested in me. Well, I remember when I was this and that and whatever. And then they're just going to regurgitate everything. You're like, oh, wow. You'll get to learn the relationship with their mother, their father, their grandmother, if they have sisters. You want to know their view of women. And they'll tell you with intentional questions. So that's part of being on purpose, collecting data. Also, too, don't think that you have to wait till you're 18, till your children are 18 to date. You're doing yourself a disservice, because we as grown up women, we have needs to have that adult contact. But understand that, right, just like you write out a business plan, write out your dating plan. Write it out. Build it out on a small little vision board, because visualization, the art of visualization, you put the thought in your mind, then you speak it, then you write it because you're spelling it out, and then it manifests. You can manifest your dream life. It's simple. You just have to do the work. And that's what I teach my children. That's what I pour into my ladies who are my clients, is don't come off desperate, because a man, they call pheromones, instantly before a word comes out of your mouth, they feel your energy. You don't have to say a word. So then they already have structured the date in their head that quick, based on that energy you're projecting, and they know how soon they can get you in the bedroom. So be a lady, be classy, dress the part. The way that you look and you show up on a date is exactly what you're going to attract. If you're showing your little cleavage and your little, high rise skirts and stuff like that, that's the message you're sending. You can't get mad at a man if he's going to come and want to
Yeah.
take you to his bedroom after dinner and think that I bought you dinner and a drink. So look at you.
Oh,
And
and the other part too, women, you ladies that have good jobs, nice car, great career, stop crippling men. That is not dating.
yes,
That is becoming a mom to somebody else.
yep,
You have that problem because you think you have all of it figured out and you have money, dropping from the sky. And now you are taking care of a useless man that become another child to you and it's only a
absolutely.
sex partner. You're not teaching your kids anything good by that. And you're just screwing yourself up because just like you are taking care of him, he is going to find someone that is going to be better than you, that can take care of him better than you, that can buy
Absolutely.
him his own Lamborghini. Okay.
Absolutely.
So
That's that.
I am telling you,
Yes.
this is not the way it's supposed to be. My daughter says a quote, right? It says, hard-headed people don't listen to soft words. Please, please listen to these soft words. And I am telling you, otherwise you're going to suffer
Yes,
and your kids are
absolutely.
going to suffer. What are you laughing about?
I love that. I love the way you're like tailoring that. Like, let me listen to my soft words, but I'm being very assertive here. Here's the part to add to that is A-type women. I'm an A-type, right? And I'm used to being a forced leader in my home, just in my community. So I have a chapter in my book, in fact, The Dating a Single Mom, where one of my authors, because it's an anthology, she wrote a quote saying, ladies, learn to hang your cape at the door. Step into your femininity and step into your truth. The more you do that, the man that you attract will respect that. And hands down, we do not want to have the pants and the skirt. We can't wear the pants and the skirt. It's impossible. So you want to make sure that you prioritize in the way that I just shared. It's always you first. What do they say when you get on an airplane? Put the mask over you first so that you can save you first, that if you need to help the person next to you, you're already breathing. Because if you don't, you're going to die trying to save somebody else. You got to fill your
Like if
cup
you're
up.
swimming, you got to be able to hang on to that lifesaver thing, get out of the water first in
Absolutely.
order for you to save anybody else. It's just the
Absolutely.
way. Yeah.
And understand, don't be afraid of change. Because if life doesn't challenge you, it's not going to change you. And when you look at change, I said it earlier, the acronym for change is choose happiness and never give excuses, ladies. You
Mhm.
are enough. You are worthy. You are loved. And when you have these little people hanging off of your skirt, looking up to you for guidance, you have to put your big girl pants on and go out there and find the resources that's going to be be good for you and good for your children.
Mhm.
First, don't put the man first. And that's not even how, remember, marriage, dating, courting, and marriage is God ordained. Okay. And if you don't have that, then that's why we have all the chaos. That's why we have all the
Finally, you
broken
came back
marriage.
with telling me about God, not no higher power.
Higher power,
Yeah,
God. I'm
God.
not afraid.
Okay,
But whoever your higher power
yeah,
is,
yes, yes,
yes,
yes, yeah, yeah.
yes.
My thing is God. Okay, I don't
Okay.
care why you
My
want to
thing is
God.
God.
God. Okay,
I believe
but
in it.
one thing that I can tell you, I read a book many years ago, and that book it says it's okay to be afraid, but do it anyway. And a
Do
lot
it
of you
anyway.
ladies, just because you're afraid of something, you just run from it. The
Yep.
fear is not a problem. It's you
Yep.
running away from it is the
Yep.
problem. Okay.
Yep.
Because I did skydiving, bungee jumping. Like, what have I not done? And guess what? I did it because I was afraid.
Yes.
I didn't
And
do
here's
it because I'm like superhero. No, I did it because that fear is what drive me to do it. It was like so exciting. And you got to
absolutely.
get to the point in your life where you're afraid of something you go and face it face to face. That's how you
Absolutely.
have to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be running all your life and your kids are going to be running behind you because they cannot face their fears. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you need to do that because I can tell you, I come from a single mom. I was a
Mhm.
single mom myself, and
Yes.
I had to face every fear. And even though my kids struggle because it's life, everybody's going to struggle, they are able to face their fears
Yes.
because they always say, I always tell them, you are Sandra Graves' child. Okay. You are God's baby, the Sandra Graves' child. And
Yep.
whatever they're going to do, they're going to be a fighter just like me and even better. So you
Absolutely.
have to face your fear, right?
Absolutely. And fear, that acronym, false evidence appearing real. It's false. Like you're gonna feel afraid. Guess what? If you have a child, you've already faced the fear. That's the closest thing to death for women is giving birth to a child.
Yes, it is. Eve have the fault. Eve have the fault.
So you've already walked through fear. The biggest fear path ever is having a child. Not even knowing what your body's going to do, how it's going to respond. So go and do it anyway. If you're in fear of it, go and do it. Fall forward. You can fall forward, get back up. That's just, we teach our kids that.
Back
So
to the
we are,
conversation about dating. If you're afraid of dating, go and do it
yeah,
anyway.
absolutely.
Go and do it. Let me tell you, when you're dating, you learn so much about yourself. It's not just about the dating part, but you
Yes,
learn about your strengths, you learn about your weaknesses,
yes,
and that's so you have to overcome it. And let me explain something here, even though we didn't touch on this topic. When you're dating, it doesn't mean every man that you date have to meet your kids. Please cut that crap that you guys
yes,
be doing. That every man that you meet, they gotta meet Uncle Peter and Uncle James and Uncle Tyrone and Uncle Jonathan. That is a whole bunch of BS, okay?
yes,
Because you are just making your children get emotionally destroyed. Stop doing
absolutely.
that crap. Don't play all these famous artists that you see them on some date and their kids are right there behind them. That is nonsense. Okay.
Yeah.
So stop. Otherwise, I'm going to show up in your dream like Freddy Krueger and I'm going to slap you.
Watch out now. You don't want to show up in your dream now.
I'm telling you, oh, Candyman.
Okay. And then also too, lastly, like setting boundaries. When you set boundaries for yourself, you're respecting your own boundaries. But when you get into a relationship or dating and you allow that person to overstep your boundaries, you've already given him free reign to do whatever he wants to do and be a bad example to your children.
Mhm.
If he even gets to that point. But
Yes.
set boundaries. My boundary in dating after divorce was if you're not already doing your inner work or open to even tap into the resources to get the help, we don't have nothing to talk about. Because
Mhm.
I can't do the work and be better and you get the best version of myself, but I get scraps from you.
Thank you.
It's
Explain
just
that
not
more.
fair.
Explain that more.
So, for instance, I've been in my work for 11 years. I decided to delve deeper after my divorce. And then just over the past 3 years, even deeper. So now I'm more aware. So in about 20 minutes of a conversation, I could tell already. No. And it's just being aware. So if a person comes to me and they're speaking, a man comes to me and they're speaking all this, yes, I want to get married, I want to meet your kids. Ooh, ooh. Okay, first of all, let's have
Pedophile awareness. Pedophile awareness.
let's have a couple dates. Let's get to know each other first. Let's ask a few questions. And if you can answer some of my tough questions, great. Okay. So now how do you feel about therapy and tapping into your inner self and delving into deep work? Because we all have past traumas. We all do. And so how do you feel about becoming the best version of yourself? Oh, I don't need it. I'm good. All I need is myself and God. And yes, I agree. But then how about in your day to day? Because sometimes we get stuck. And when you're in relationships, guess what? It magnifies whatever that trauma is.
Mhm.
And that's called triggers. So if I'm having these conversations and you're looking at me like I'm speaking Spanish or a different
I
language
speak
or
Spanish. I speak Spanish.
Portuguese, but I'm just saying that's self-love
I know
language. That's
I'm making you, I'm giving you a
that's
hard time.
self-love language, right? So my thing is, if you're open to it or already doing the work, and if they're not into that, then we're not for each other because we're going to clash. I'm going to become the best version of myself. And what you're going to get is all this, right? And then when it's time for Ayesha to get what she needs from the relationship, I'm going to be empty.
I completely agree with you.
And
Completely,
so that's
completely
so
agree.
important. That's my boundary. And if you don't, like in the first couple dates that I find out that that's not, I don't have time to waste. Life is too precious. We have less time ahead of us,
So
more time behind.
let's give them a summary of this conversation. But
Yeah.
before we do this, I want you to remember that you need to choose your path. But if you have a story that you want to tell, please send me an email to info@singlemom.today. Info@singlemom.today. You don't have to be an expert in any particular area. All you need to do is be an expert in your own story. And becoming an expert in your own story is acknowledging that you have made mistakes and being able to explain how you have been able to fix them or how you have been able to do better than what you did before. That is how you become an expert at your own story. But if you are a coach, an author, whatever it you are, and you want to share your story here, then go ahead and again, send us an email to info@singlemom.today. And you can also find us at Instagram, Single Mom Today. That's how you will be able to find us there. And you can find Ayesha at where?
You can find me at Ayesha R Goodall on Instagram and Ayesha R Goodall on LinkedIn and Facebook. And also dating the single mom movement on Facebook. So I'm also having a self-love retreat for women on December
Don't
10th.
dates. Nope, don't no dates.
Oh,
No dates.
okay, no dates.
That's it. Yeah, because
Gotcha.
then this video is going to expire.
Okay,
So no
so
dates. Yeah.
yeah, so I will be having a workshop and retreat. So follow my pages for all the information. And my website, I am a health and wellness expert, is www.getzenfit.com or www.ayeshargoodall.com.
Oh, okay,
So thank
good.
you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you. So with that said, I will be putting a link to Aisha's Instagram and the description box if you want to learn more and you don't really understand what we were talking about. But the reason why I wanted to go ahead and do that is because I did ask you to do a summary of what we were talking about. So can you go ahead and summarize the 3 points that you make, and then we do that closing?
Yes. So dating with purpose, the 3 topics for today were self-love, learning to love yourself, and discovering your inner child. And then delving into the health, the mental health and emotional health of your children to make sure they're okay past the divorce. And then thirdly, collecting data, asking the intentional questions, those tough questions up front so that you don't waste your time.
And I agree with that. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you so
Yes.
much for showing up here to share your expertise with us. May you continue to be blessed in everything that you do. And may you continue to be a hottie.